Okay, we are live today. I'm Angela Hughes, your luxury travel entrepreneur and host of Luxury Travel University, and also owner of Trips and Ships Luxury Travel. And I am here with Jack Coppola, who owns Coppola Concierge. And this is like such an exciting day. Like, I have been talking to Jack for probably months back and forth about, hey, we need to get together. We need to have this conversation. He's all into private yachts, private ships, private yachts, private jets, concierge service, and he really understands the luxury business. And so welcome, Jack, to my little live show today. Can you introduce yourself and tell us who you are, your whole history in your life and everything else?
Sure. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you. And yeah, we've been talking for months. I think actually either before COVID or during COVID. And first and foremost, I want to say Trips and Ships. When I saw that, I was like, who created this name? It's fabulous. Like, I want this name.
You can tell my 81-year-old dad that, because we've been in business 35 years and that's kind of our thing. I just love our name too. So thank you.
It's fun. It's catchy. I've seen you on Instagram and I'm like, Trips and Ships, Trips and Ships. Where are we going?
Yeah. A lot of people get it wrong and they're like, Trips and Chips, and I'm like, no, we're not, potato chip. So yeah. So tell us about you.
Right. Yes, the luxury world of travel, I mean, it's booming. It's always been booming. I mean, there's always been this driving curiosity of, how much is it to charter a private jet? What's it like, life on a yacht, so on and so forth. And fortunately, at a young age, I was introduced to the private jet side of things first. And the family that I worked for owned yachts as well. And I wasn't honestly too familiar with the yachts. And the first time I got on board, it was a 280-foot mega yacht in Monaco. And I was just like, oh my God, like there's 3 boats on the boat. There's a car garage with a Rolls Royce on the boat. So, that's like cream of the crop, ultimate survival tool, ultimate.
Right.
Just jaw-dropping
experience right there. Yeah.
Exactly. And, as time progressed, Coppola Concierge was formed only in the sense that, I was on the planes, I was on the yachts, I was in the houses. Mm-hmm. And I realized, like, okay, these are, 3 industries and they're all very similar. So let's combine them, land, air, sea.
So tell me a little bit about how does somebody get into this industry? Because I think it's everybody's dream in luxury travel to be like selling the yachts and selling the private jets and everything. And people just don't even know where to start. And then the thing is, if you throw it out there, like, can somebody give me a bone for this? All of a sudden you'll get millions of people all over the world. And so you're a little bit overwhelmed with the response of how many people are working the yacht business or the private jet business. So let's just start with the jet business for a minute, and then we'll move on to yachts. How does that all work? I mean, how can we narrow that down? I'm sure this is a big long course, but what can you tell us in a nutshell?
So in a nutshell, I mean, private jets, you have kind of two sides to it. You have the crew side and then you have the selling side. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I started on the crew side, which I honestly suggest, if you have the drive and the power and the means to do it, to start on the crew side, because you kind of work on the inside going out. You understand the logistics. You understand, what a New York to London flight looks like. You understand catering. You understand airports. I mean, the whole night. Going from the crew side, transitioning into sales and charter, you have this knowledge already of a G650 versus a Global Express versus a Challenger versus a Hawker. Those are all different sized airplanes that are going to bring you to different, around the world in a different budget.
Right.
So, I mean, in a nutshell, to go on the crew side, there's a training school called Flight Safety International, and you would inquire for the flight attendant initial course is what it's called.
Right.
It's about $5,000 to $6,000. It's about 5 days, and it's basically your crash course of all the safety to get on board these airplanes.
Yeah.
Then from there, it's all about who you know. I mean,
and I know that you're offering, I'm going to put in a little plug for you right now. You're actually offering a concierge course that I thought would be perfect for my 20-year-old if he wasn't in pilot school, that teaches all of that. And he could make a lot of money just working on the yachts even. So yeah, you guys check out his website for that course and you only are starting that periodically. So it's time sensitive to get involved with Jack. If you have younger people who might be interested in doing that concierge side. Okay. So let's go back to the jet piece for a minute. How does somebody start selling luxury jets? If they've been just a regular domestic and international seller of, the Deltas and the Americans and everything.
Right. So, I mean, essentially you have the charter side of the business and then you have the sales side of the business. Right. So charter, you could either work for a charter company. And there's thousands of them. You could work for me, just saying. Yeah. There are, companies called Clay Lacy. There's companies, Exo Jets, NetJets, these are all charter companies that you could work for and you would essentially sell a charter. Florida, New York, 10 people.
Now, are they actually working or are they just breaking deals like an agent does with a broker?
It kind of depends. I mean, those companies are so big that they're getting leads, I mean, right off the bat. And yeah, you're essentially an agent and you're booking the flight and making sure that, all is good. Mm-hmm. Now you go with a smaller company and you kind of have to, generate a little bit more leads and reach out and, and do a little bit more legwork, as I should say. And then you have the sales side of things. So, I mean, you could actually sell an airplane and make, depending on the commission, a couple $100,000 to a couple million. And that's a little more tedious. I mean, you need to have not only the knowledge of the airplane, you have to understand undergoing surveys, you have to understand regulations, you have to work with the FAA, you have to work with the FAR. These are all different things that, I mean, frankly, I learned by being on the planes. So, the other thing is that if you get into airplane sales, they have aviation attorneys that help you with the sale. So.
Okay, so let's break it down because we're mostly looking at the travel industry community, so agencies. How can they sell more private jets? How can they narrow in on just selling that space? If they've got a family of 12 that wants to fly privately, because right now in the industry, like you can go into Fiji on a private yacht, you can go into the Bahamas on a private yacht. The rest of us are sitting landlocked in America, wishing we were on that private yacht, getting into Fiji. So the benefits come in the private sector, I think. So tell us a little bit about how agents can zoom in and maybe sell more private space.
Right. So like what you just said, Bahamas, it's still closed, but to private jets and yachts, it's not closed, which is great. So, I mean, even since COVID, I mean, our company, Coppola Concierge itself has actually seen a spike in agents reaching out to us because they said, hey, our clients that normally would fly first class from, JFK to Heathrow on, BA, they're wanting to do a private jet charter, say with 9 people. And frankly, it's actually more affordable to charter a private jet, split it 9 ways than to spend, say, $15,000 on a British Airways first class seat. So, I mean, essentially, agents can come to boutique companies like myself and say, hey, I either want to get into brokering or, hey, I have a lead for, a client that normally flies first class. How do I go about offering them a private jet? And I mean, ideally, I would walk them through. I would just say, same thing. Get your airports, get your time, get your destinations, get your amount of people, and take it a step further. They like to eat. Are they bringing their dogs on board? It's a one-way or a round trip. And we could kind of escalate it a little bit.
Yeah. And I really, for those agents out there looking, and even for families that are watching, like on my personal feed, like it's more affordable sometimes to do the private route or, of the jets and the charter ships and everything than it is to take a family on Royal Caribbean.
Right.
Go ahead.
So the yachts, it's kind of funny because I actually had this a few months ago. It's a family that would do all inclusive, but at like 5-star resorts. St. Thomas, Ritz-Carlton, Shangri-La's. I mean, really nice stuff.
Right.
I said to them, I said, if you could submit me an invoice that you did on one of your previous family trips, I said, we're going to compare. I'm going to give you the comparison. So we actually did this. They stayed at the St. Thomas Ritz-Carlton. It was 9 people, all inclusive, which included airfare arriving first class, transport from the airport to the hotel. I think it was 3 excursions in a week.
Right.
Climbing, zip lining, and I think it was a St. John snorkeling expedition. Liquor included, 3 meals a day included, snack included. Take a random guess what they spent on that all-inclusive.
I'd probably say probably, I don't even know, because it could be arranged like 30,000 and up probably,
Right. So this specific case, they actually spent $68,000.
I was so short. I should never be on The Price is Right.
No, you were good because believe it or not, they had packages starting, I think it was 35,000 is what they did.
Okay. So I was in the ballpark. Okay.
So it was 68 grand was the end total. But keep in mind, they're staying in St. Thomas the entire week. They have the one spot. So I showed them a 112 Westport, which can accommodate, 8 to 9 guests, depending on the sleeping arrangements. The boat base price was $51,000, and total in the end was $59,800. But they got to travel to 15 different islands.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
That is so dreamy. Yeah.
Hot tub. They had a boat. They had banana boat. They had water skiing. They had wakeboarding. They had, everything that you would not really get in a resort unless you're,
right,
your wallet and spending money for the extras, you could say.
Okay, so let's go into yachting for a minute. So if you want to let's break this down because we're on a time limit here. If you want to do private jet, you can reach out to Jack and he can give you a quote. And he only takes serious people. So this isn't for you people out there that just want to get a random quote. And, Jack's all in on working and has a really affluent clientele. And so he only wants to work with the best of the best. But if you have somebody that's like looking to, do business air or wants that private experience, or with COVID wants less people on a plane, then reach out to Jack. And especially groups and families. Like he said, he can, by the time you break down the price, it might be cheaper than like the Grand Velas or, somewhere where you're spending a lot, and it's such a better experience. There's a lot of tricks to that though, right? Before we move on to yachts, there's lots of things that you've got to know on jets, and that's a place that he'll help familiarize you with, because what happens if they need to cancel or something and they're locked into a contract? There's more stringent policies on chartered.
There is, but you want to know what cancellation policies I make, pretty much crystal clear. If it's a family emergency, if it's done within 48 hours, honestly, you can work with them.
Yeah. So you are semi-flexible on this.
It's honestly more flexible than JetBlue or American. I've had people that were stuck in traffic, had a car crash on their way to the airport, and I think it was Norwegian, and they were like, nope, sorry, not reimbursing you.
Right.
A private jet we'll wait for you. No worries.
Yeah. Okay, real quick before we move on to yachts, if you've got questions, just post them in the comments. They'll come up on the screen, and Jack or I will answer those questions for you right now while we are live, right here with the Luxury Travel Entrepreneur. So moving on to yachts for a minute. This is the most exciting piece. Tell me everything. Where should we start with yachts? How to get into that marketplace? Because that seems like it's only reserved for really the New Yorker agency that's really locked in Manhattan. But believe it or not, we were just having this conversation last night. I'm in Florida. You're in Florida. You've been in LA. There's lots of business on any of the coast, and really from the inner parts of the United States. People want that yachting experience, and I want that yachting experience.
Right. Honestly, I actually get more yacht inquiries from the Midwest, where there's no ocean, there's no beach, and no water. Okay. And their biggest thing is, we want to fly into Nassau. We have a direct flight, from say, Kansas City to Nassau. We want to hop on a yacht, and we want to be on the beach every single day. And it's like, sweet, game on. What's your budget? 30,000? work with that.
Okay, we have a question really quick. How do you find customers who would work with these services? And I think that's the big golden ticket question right there. How does one of our agents, before we move more into this yachting conversation, find these clients?
Essentially, I mean, think of people who would be on these yachts: the Kardashians, stars, plastic surgeons, doctors, dentists. You kind of have to think outside of the box on, like you said, who is chartering this jet? Is it a CEO? Is it a CFO? Is it a COO? Is it a Wall Street guy?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I actually do a lot of targeting on Instagram. I'll follow #dentist, #plastic surgeon. You go to their page.
Targeting. That is such a great thing. Targeting right there. Okay. So you got the hashtags. Give us some of your hashtags that you're looking for.
Dentist, plastic surgeon, Beverly Hills. What's the other one I like? Lamborghini. Actually, there's a lot of guys in there that have Lamborghinis that race. And a lot of those times those guys are, racing from one spot to another. They're taking a private jet back home. They're shipping the car back home. So you kind of just have to find that groove. And even like when
tell us your workflow a little bit. You go out, you follow the hashtag, and then how do you approach the client?
I mean, I'll follow them. I'll kind of comment back and forth. If they engage back on my page, then I'll reach out and send them a message. But I'm not doing a generic, copy. I'm making it personal. If there's a connection there, oh my God, I've been to this restaurant. Have you had this dessert there?
Yeah.
And you're kind of interacting with them, and you're not giving them a sales pitch. You're being genuine. If I see that they have a dog, I'm going to note that.
Yeah.
If they're chartering a private jet and they actually inquire, hey, we want to go from Sacramento down to Los Angeles for the weekends, I could go ahead and say, hey, is the dog coming?
Right.
And they love that.
Right. Okay. Going into yachts for a minute, and then we have a couple more questions that have come through. So how does one even start to familiarize themselves with this whole industry? I mean, there's everything. I mean, I've been in Capri and I look around at some of those yachts and I'm like, okay, who are these people? Is Leo DiCaprio, is he here? Who's on these yachts? You're waiting for Brad Pitt to jump out, but I mean, most of them are not. I mean, people aren't buying the $10 million a week, are they? I mean, they're mostly buying small chartered ships, right?
I mean, it depends on the area in the world that you're in. I mean, the average charter I sell, and it goes anywhere between 45,000 and about, $250.
Okay.
There is a boat that's $1 million a week, and believe it or not, last season they booked 17 charters on that boat.
Wow. And who were they? Well, you probably can't give us a name, but okay, here's a question that somebody has. Do you also arrange all the captains and the caterings and everything? What can people expect? Because I know in Greece, there's different levels. Sometimes you're on barefoot, you're not with the staff and crew. Right. So what does the onboard experience look like? So
captains, generally, they come with the boat. I mean, the crew always comes with the boat unless you're doing what's called a bareboat charter. A bareboat charter is popular in the British Virgin Islands and popular on catamarans. That's you renting the boat. You have to get the crew, or you have to operate it. You have to provision it. You have to work it. You have to know everything.
Okay.
The yachts that we work with, it comes with, depending on the boat, captain, chef, deckhand, stewardess, bartender, laundress. I mean, the list goes on.
Okay.
For catering, there's something I send out, what's called a preference sheet. Is that, say, Angela, you contact me and said, hey, my family wants to go away on a yacht to the Bahamas for 5 days. Yeah. We're going to fly into Nassau. I'm going to contact you and I'm going to ask you how you like your coffee, what wine you like, what liquor you like, dietary restrictions. I mean, the whole list. So when you get on the yacht, you have everything that you have at home. And if you say, you know what, Jack, we're on vacation, we want to try the Caribbean flair. We want to try local Bahamian cracked conch. We want the chef to make what he's going to make.
Okay. And so the next question somebody has is scuba. Is scuba involved in that, or no?
If you're
change that if you.
There's certain boats that have scuba. There's certain boats that also require you to have the PADI, like the PADI license. And there are other boats that can teach you and certify you in scuba. So it's kind of the list of amenities that's on each yacht, which of course varies.
Let's say we have like an extended family of 15 people and they want to do Caribbean. What's kind of a starting price point? You know, a lot of people don't even know what the price point would be to get into.
So it's
and we're talking with a crew. They're not going to sell it themselves. They're just a family that now doesn't want to do the Ritz-Carlton in St. Thomas and wants to try this experience.
So it's kind of funny. In yachts, you get basically the Coast Guard allows each boat to be up to 12 guests.
Mm-hmm.
So you get certain boats that are rated commercially and they can be more than 12 people. So honestly, doing the 15 to 18 person yachts is kind of difficult to find and they're very expensive.
So 12 is kind of the number.
Max. Yeah.
Okay.
Generally speaking, on a 12-person boat, say British Virgin Islands, you're looking at about 145 feet to 165 feet.
Okay.
Price point starting at about, I'd say about 160, depending on the amenities. That's what you're looking at. That would be, 7 days. And yeah, that's your holy grail, 160,000.
Okay, so give us some more marketing strategies for agents and people that want to kind of move this business.
Like you said, I mean, if you know that you're booking, I mean, a $50,000 to $60,000 all-inclusive resort trip, I mean, you could kind of introduce to them, hey, we have this boat that's down in the islands and their weekly rate is say 45,000. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to deal with, COVID restrictions or requirements, would this interest you? So I would kind of just offer it, and you'd be surprised how many people, I think, in the travel agent world, customer wise, have dreamed about doing a yacht charter, but they're not really aware of what the price is, or they're not sure how to ask about it. So I think if a lot of travel agents just kind of, present it and offer it and have a little bit of knowledge, whether that's sending you a message or sending me a message and saying, hey, how do I go about, marketing a yacht charter? And I could send them a few links. It tells them what's included on the boat, where the boat is, what the price of the boat is, and just kind of the whole run through.
Okay, we have one more question here before we keep talking. This is coming from Africa. With the pandemic, do you test guests and crew, and what safety measures are being taken?
So Bahamas, for example, they require a negative COVID test within 72 hours of arriving to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to fill out a health declaration stating, you performed the test, you're clear and good to go.
And if you're coming in by yacht, who's checking that?
Customs and Immigration checks it.
Oh, they are. Okay. So you're actually still going through a customs at every island.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Just when you get to the Bahamas, it's just the one custom immigration stop, and you're free to go.
Okay.
As for the crew, this has actually been a topic that I've talked about on some of my other pages, because, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, the crew, not only are they working and living on the boat, but they also have to go out and get provisions and get your supplies and prepare for a trip. Now, there are a few yachts I know that they're actually testing the crew every week, every 7 days. Knock on wood, everyone's been fine. There are other boats that have quarantined the crew specifically to the boat and said, you cannot leave, you cannot do anything. We're a heavy charter boat. We're going to have everything get delivered to the boat. And, that's it. And then I have another boat that's actually having a cleaning company coming in and sterilizing everything every single week.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a little bit of a toss-up. There's no regulation or law stating the crew must do, X, Y, and Z.
How do you select the boats, the yachts that people are using?
You know what? Honestly, based on personality, I like to do it. I know the crew on a lot of these boats as I worked as crew. So like you, for example, I'd put
Oh no. Okay.
and would tell you about the islands.
Tell us that one more time. We lost you for a minute. Your Wi-Fi went a little blank.
I know, yours too. Basically I do it based on personality. So, I could tell, like, if your family wanted to go away on, to the Bahamas, I would put you on a boat with bubbly crew that are interactive. They're going to want to show you around and, be into it. And then I get other clients that are very reserved. They don't want to be bothered with. They want, proper formal service. And I'm going to put them on a, very proper boat.
Yeah. So not the fun ship.
And it also depends on your requirement. Like what he said, scuba. There's actually, every boat does not have scuba equipment. So, selecting a boat, I would make sure that they have scuba.
Okay, so one of our viewers, Tim Hardwood, just says he'd appreciate information from you on private jet and yacht charter. What is your system? Because it's not like you're a tour operator. You work really privately, and we're kind of exposing the Jack Coppola on the on this show because you're not out there marketing to a million people. I mean, you keep very private clients, and you're working with a select few people. And so how do agents like work with you if they?
I mean, I don't broadcast everything on the website. I don't have a list of the yachts. I don't have any of that, only in the sense that I need to get the exact parameters that you want. 12 people, Bahamas, scuba, 2 jet skis, hot tub, 15 islands, 6 staterooms. There's too many requirements to just list, every single boat. So essentially, I really suggest you either follow us on Instagram at Coppola Concierge, or go to the website, www.coppolaconcierge.com, and reach out. Just message me, introduce yourself, and say, I either need a plane or I need a boat, and just kind of work it out. The other reason why everything's kind of down low is that a lot of the yacht owners don't want their boats posted and listed.
The private boats. Yeah.
Right. They don't want to know, like, they don't want to broadcast the boats sitting in Antigua available with no one on board. Same with the private jets.
Okay. So and I get that. Here's another question. Let me show it up here. What are the areas that you cover? Because we've been talking Caribbean, but do you also, this question is, do you also cover like Galapagos and Mediterranean, or what's the field?
Everywhere. South Pacific, all of Asia, all of Caribbean, Bahamas, Galapagos, Belize, Panama, Mediterranean, Croatia. Africa, not so much, because the waters over there are very dangerous due to piracy. The waters are very rough.
Yeah.
We can do the Baltic. We could do, Canada, Alaska. It's been a little bit difficult this year, which is why I keep saying Caribbean, Bahamas, because the Mediterranean parts of it were open. I had 2 charters booked. Then I had to cancel them. Then I had to rebook them. Then it was back on. It was too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, primarily all over the world. And private jets, I have access to over 15,000 airplanes. So we could do flights Dubai to London, Canada to the Caribbean, West Coast of America to India. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you cover the whole gamut. What's your personal favorite?
Where to travel, or?
Yeah, just like what's your, are you like, oh, I'm St. Bart's or bust? I'm seeing you like scuba by some days on LinkedIn.
You know what? I love it all.
Floating around an island, where is it? What's your personal favorite?
I love the islands, only in the sense that I love the beach. I love the warm weather. But then again, I love, hopping on some snow skis and going down the mountains in Courchevel, and, going down to Austria and skiing on St. Anton, and just, I love everything. But Depends what we're doing. If we're shopping, I want to be in Paris. If we're eating dinner, I want to be in Tuscany. If we're at the beach, I want to be in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So it's, every part of the world offers something so much that I truly don't have a favorite, because there's just too much respect for every location and their little niche.
Yeah. And that's the worst question that anybody can ask anybody in travel, because you just can't put things like in a box, I think.
Right. That, or have you seen the show Below Deck? I get that all the time.
Okay. We've talked jets. We've talked yachts for a minute. You even take it one step further with cars. Like, you could roll them up. I mean, because people want like the entire experience. They don't want to get off a private jet, jump in a junky old minivan, and then go to their yacht. Right. So talk about like just the on-ground experience, because you really make it one whole seamless experience. And then if you've got questions, throw them in there. We've got a few more minutes, you guys.
So the whole reason to the land, air, sea deal is because I was employed as a full-time butler to a family. And when we did what we called the road trips, which were the multiple destinations and however many weeks or days, 2 phones, so many ground contacts, reservations, drivers, security guards, rental car companies, private jet companies, yacht crew. I'm like, there needs to be one person that I could call and they could do, everything.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I couldn't find it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So, I have the connections and, the resources to be able to literally be the one-stop shop, the one wire transaction, the one person to schedule your exotic rental cars, your drivers, your security guards, your private jets, your crew in flight, planning your meals in flight, landing to a destination and having, say a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or a Lamborghini awaiting you, either with a driver or without, bringing you to the yacht. And as you get on the yacht, you have, a freshly made mimosa and your dinner's up on top deck, and you're going to be cruising to the islands. It's just one fluid breeze, I like to call it.
Okay, let's go back to marketing strategies for a minute. I feel like a lot of viewers are thinking this is impossible for me to find those types of people. And so you've kind of talked a little bit about finding them on Instagram and targeting them through certain types of posts and different groups. Once you have this client, don't they stay with you for a while? I mean, this becomes a repeat customer, first of all. Would you say yes or no on that?
They stay with you for life. I mean, I have clients that I've known for over 5 years now. Mm-hmm. And it's to the point where they're inviting me to Christmas dinner, to the point that I'm almost a family asset, in the sense that I know everything about everyone. I have social security numbers. I have passport information. Seriously, I have credit card information. But that's to make their lives easier. That's to make their travel experience. Jack will handle it. You know what? I lost my purse while we're in Paris. My credit cards are in there, but Jack has all the information. He'll handle it. I don't have to worry about it. It's happened. The marketing for this is, if you have a lead on a private jet client, just take it a step further. May we arrange a car for you? May we arrange a hotel for you? May I arrange a butler to travel with you? I understand you're going to be traveling on business, which means you're going to be busy. You're not going to be able to make your reservations. You're not going to be able to iron your shirts. You're not going to be able to unpack your suitcase and pack up.
Right.
I could potentially even drive the car for you, so you could be in the back seat working.
Yeah.
Once you kind of offer that service to these, business travelers, they then think, oh my God, I could be making money the entire time that I'm on this work trip. I don't have to spend 3 hours worrying about, restaurants, logistics, Ubers, unpacking the bag, packing the bag, arriving to the airport on time.
What's the average length that somebody likes to do? I can't imagine a lot of people in the spending category are going to take 3 months off. Is it 7, 10 days? What's your average?
You know what? It's kind of,
or are they working? I mean, like you said, maybe they're working on board and they're just like, hey, we're mobile now. So,
and that was the funny part about COVID is that a lot of these people were like, if I'm going to be landlocked at home, why can't I do this on a yacht? So we had what would they do? They were on the boat for almost 3.5 months.
Yeah.
Floating around. The husband, he had to go to work. We did a private jet for 2 nights up to New York and back. The kids flew in. They were in California. They ended up staying on the boat for a couple of weeks. So it kind of depends. The other unique thing about a yacht charter is that you're giving these clients a taste. They might be like, how much is it to own this boat? Because I want one. Now you could push that into a yacht sale, which is great money.
And you really moved into the yacht sales, which is amazing. And I'm moving into the brokering of yachts with you as well. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's great. We just did a
okay, let's say somebody's doing a $75,000 deal with you. What can they expect to make on that?
Jet or boat?
Let's say boat to start with.
So boats are basically 15% commission. That's a standard thing on charter.
Okay.
So,
and then how does a jet pricing work?
So jet pricing is kind of the Wild West. I mean, that's kind of the trick.
Scary a little bit though. When we say it's a Wild West, it kind of means like, see, jets kind of scare me a little bit because there's just so many pieces of that whole thing.
There's more to yachts than there are airplanes.
Oh, really? Okay, so I have it backwards. Okay.
Yep, other way. Yachts, there's a lot more involved. Airplane, you sign the contract, you wire the money, and you go. But as for the airplanes, you kind of have to know, and you have to know the pricing that the other companies are providing. So like, say, for example, New York to Los Angeles, 8 people, an average price on that is about $28,000 to $33,000, give or take.
Okay.
Commission on that would probably be, I don't know, anywhere between 7,000 and 9,000. Again, there's factors. Is that one way? Is that round trip? If it's round trip, it's going to be more. If the plane's sitting and waiting for the clients, for the 6 days, it's going to be more. So there's almost too many factors to just give out a number and say, hey, this is your commission.
Because it just varies across the board. But one thing I think that we can teach everybody in Luxury Travel University is that this is the space that you want to be in with COVID. This is what you should be aspiring to make better money selling travel, and also so you can work less. I mean, think how many mass market cruises you have to sell to make what you could in one yacht charter sell. I mean, you were saying like really you focus on about 10 people. I mean, you're not focusing on a mass amount of 450 clients and building that client base. You're not up there trying to do a mailing list and everything. You're laser focused on who your ideal client avatar is, really.
Right. And the benefit, if you have 10, say, solid clients, you're going to be busy 24/7 with them because you're noticing the preferences. Right. You're always going to be on, with them.
Yeah.
Also following up, hey, how is business going? What can I do to help you? You're always, oh, you know what? We might need to fly to Germany next week. Great. Let me get that started. At the same token, we also manage properties when, all the Florida-based people leave, and we're checking in on the houses and, making sure that the cars here are driven and making sure.
So that's something new that I didn't know that you had. So you actually have villas in that you can do as well.
So I could do villas here. I mean, primarily the clients that are based in Palm Beach are snowbirds. But we do the property management in the sense that when they are not here, I go in and check on the houses.
Okay.
Which is great.
You offer so many different things. Have we missed anything at all? Or no?
We take cryptocurrency. That's another fun thing that people are like, huh?
That's me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, Jack, let's go personal for a minute. What's your one big aha moment in life? Let's get
meaning laughing or aha, like, oh my God, I did this.
Yeah, just the OMG, I did this type thing.
I have to say, one of the first airplanes I worked on, the carpet was mink carpet. So the client that owned the airplane said to me, "You can never wear, rubber shoes in here." And I'm like, okay, what am I going to wear? So
Right.
I found Christian Louboutin red bottom men's designer shoes that were like gorgeous. Not thinking during takeoff, the plane's like this. I walk down the mink carpet and I totally slide down the entire plane because I had shiny red bottoms on, on mink, fuzzy carpet, and it was like an ice skating rink. So I just went boop, right down the plane.
Okay, so this brings me to one of my final points. If you want to work in the luxury travel segment and in the yachting and private jet segment, you really need to brand yourself to be that person as well. And I always say this, you can't be posting a $299 Norwegian cruise and then the next day touting a yacht charter. I mean, do you see that a lot? I see that a lot. Like the branding doesn't fit the person. And I hear this every single day in my private consulting because I privately consult agents on the side. I want to sell more luxury travel. I just don't know how to get there. And then I go out and look at their messaging and it's so inconsistent with their personality and their passion. And I'm always like, it's okay to be a mass market agent. You can be a mass market agent and make 6 digits, no problem. If you want to scale your business and be, a 7-digit business and you're making a consistent 6-digit salary, you need to up your products. And that means you've got to up your product image, your branding image, even yourself. I mean, can you comment on that at all?
You're 100% right. I mean, you can't be doing TJ Maxx one day and then Neiman Marcus the next day. It just doesn't work. So, you could be offering, what is it? The Royal Genies on the Royal Caribbean. Do you know about them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you could be offering, VIP, suites on luxury cruise lines and then kind of transitioning into, hey, what's better? A Royal Genie on a cruise ship versus your own personal butler on a yacht. And I think if you kind of compare the two prices next to each other, you're almost showing, would you want this or would you want this? And then from there, if your reaction is good to the, the yacht side, you kind of transition, from there. And you could kind of incorporate the, on a cruise ship versus, 5 to 7 to 15 crew on a super yacht. And just slowly do the transition. And again, trial and error. You have to see what your viewers like. You have to see what they engage in. You have to see if they're actually like into this. Because if they're not, you probably have to just, either start a new page or start marketing towards a totally different demographic.
Yeah, it's really important what demographic you're marketing towards. And he's given us a lot of tips today on just how he's even doing that. And I think it's really important that you do that side-to-side value. My brother has 6 kids. They did a couple of cabins on Royal Caribbean. We did a couple of cabins. And honestly, both of us were sitting on the ship back in January and we're like, we have spent so much money and we just ended up paying full price because we wanted to go with them and they had paid full price. And it was tens of thousands of dollars for everybody to go at the last minute. And we looked back and we were like, we could have done this, we could have done that. And all we really wanted to do was be together. And that's the whole thing. Again, people want to be together. They want to be with their families. They want private right now. Just in wrap up, Jack Coppola is your guy. We've got him here on the show today. You can reach out to him on his pages. Join me over at Luxury Travel Social Media and Marketing for Travel Professionals, my Facebook group. I'm giving valuable tips every single day about how you can grow your luxury travel business. I also run the Luxury Travel University where I consult privately agencies and agents on even an hourly basis to help grow your market share. So thanks, Jack. Any last words that you want to say?
No, it's my pleasure. Hey, if I could do it, anyone could do it. So please message me, even if you just want to say hi and, we'll see where it goes. We could test it out. I'm here for you.
Yeah. Thanks so much. See you guys later.
I'll see you soon.